What is going on, everybody? Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. So I want to share with you a crazy story that is going on right now about a family in California, and they apparently have this trans daughter who is now becoming a boy, or is now transitioned into a boy, or whatever that means. But I'm just trying to look at the facts of the matter. Okay, I'm trying to look at the facts. So when I think of trans, I'm going to try to look at the facts of where did trans come from. Okay, can somebody actually physically be trans? Can somebody actually transition? Why does somebody think they're trans? These are the kind of things that I try to look at. And not, I have a personal opinion about that in terms of my life, in my family, in my belief in God and Jesus. But so this story here, I'll share it with you. This story broke last Friday on Fox News, and here I'll let this play for a second.
I could just see it wasn't for him to be a brat. It was like painful. It was really painful for him to have to wear feminine clothing and for us constantly telling him that you're a girl.
And unlike some trans kids, when Rylan came out at age 5, a few years later, he had the full support of his parents. Initially, there was some pushback from us. I'm trying to understand this.
Okay, so the whole storyline here is that Rylan was he was young, couldn't talk when he was young like everybody, and then he was trying to tell his parents that he was a boy and not a girl. Well, here's the thing, dude. Okay, when I couldn't talk, I did a lot of stupid things. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then even when I was a boy and I could talk, I did a lot of stupid things. Okay, like I was really good at stealing stuff. Okay, that doesn't mean that God made me a thief just because I felt a certain way. So the idea here that you feel something, and because you feel it, it must be true. Here's the thing that is being pushed now on parents, and I'm a parent of 4 now. Here's the thing that's being pushed is that if you don't believe in this, if you don't support this, if you don't consider these things, then what's really going to happen is your children are at safety risk, that your children may die. Okay, and this is actually being pushed on the tip of the spear, the forefront of the messaging. If you think I'm lying, watch this. So he says, a part of our America Together, blah, blah, blah. So he says, he links to his story. This is him airing the story. And he says here at the bottom, he says, I would rather have a living son than a dead daughter. Okay, now why would he put that there? Why would he put that there? I would rather have a living son than a dead daughter. Here's the thing. The first thing I thought, is this actually true? Is it true that children are killing themselves because they're not able to come out as trans or whatever, or homosexual or whatever? The answer to that, when I looked it up, is no. This isn't okay. Because here's one thing about suicide data. Okay, I know this because I had 2 of my friends in school, different times, committed suicide. So I remember hearing about this, that you don't actually know most of the time why exactly the person committed suicide unless they left a note or they talked to somebody, said, hey, I'm going to kill myself because of this. But a lot of times you don't know what actually triggered them. It could have been a bad relationship, could have been a bad argument they got in, could have been they were on drugs or whatever, and they were just not in the right mind. Okay. So people might say, oh, well, that person was, was acting like a boy and it was a girl, and then he committed suicide. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that he committed suicide because of the trans thing. And so, what we do know is that there was a mental issue there. Okay. And here's the thing. Are you more supporting your child from a mental standpoint by reinforcing the way that God made them? Okay. So such as your child says that they, like I have 3 boys and a girl. Well, the girl is the oldest. So naturally my younger ones who are just less developed mentally, they might wear something that my daughter wears. Well, that doesn't mean that they're trying to tell me that they're a girl inside. Okay. I say, hey, dude, boys don't wear dresses. Boys don't wear shoes like that. Boys don't look at themselves in the mirror for an hour combing their hair. Girls do that. So I'm just letting you know, we don't have to do that. Reinforce that they're awesome just the way they are, that no one looks at them any different. And guess what? They never do it again. Okay. But if you pander into that, because you're too much of a wussy as a parent to tell them the truth, then what happens is now you start to create more and more questioning of who they are, which only leads to more and more issues, because all the studies show that these people deal and struggle with more mental issues, suicide, and those kind of things significantly more than somebody who's not within that community. So you're actually safer. This is true. You're safer not being in the community than being in the community. And this is why they're also trying to do things about mental health there, and like trying to say, well, it's because of bashing and things like that. And I think that does actually play a role in it. Look, guys, if sorry, like, I'm a conservative, but it's like, if somebody says they're going to be trans, beating them up about it is not going to change anything. It doesn't make the situation any better. That's for damn sure. Okay. But this idea here that you would rather have a living son than a dead daughter is absolute insanity. This is actually not true. Okay. Your daughter is worse off and is at a significantly higher risk of mental issues or suicidal death by becoming a trans, by you having them join this movement than without. So the other thing I want to say here is this segment came off as a breaking story, like it was new, and this is like just a fad that's happening, and it's happening all across America now. Okay, well, I looked up who this person is. So did you know that this girl, Riley, who is now a boy, I guess, that her mom is a part of pushing this propaganda? Yes, she wrote a book when Riley was 5, talking about the transition that she was making in her daughter. And no wonder before the child could even speak, she had already decided this little girl is going to be a boy, and I'm going to raise her that way. And honestly, in my opinion, of glancing over some pages of the book that were online, as well as hearing her talk, I honestly think that she pre-planned her daughter to become a boy as an experiment to see what would happen. And as a way of justifying, trying to feel better about it and justifying it in her own conscience, she's now trying to be the Colin Kaepernick of it or whatever. You might be like, well, why you got to bash on her because she came out on Fox? Well, dude, do you know that this is not the first time that she has surfaced, that her and her story with Ryland, that they're trying to make Ryland like the poster child of the kid trans movement. Yes, this is real. So look it up on CNN. So when you start looking into this, it's like, holy crap, there's a whole bunch of stuff about this kid. And CNN did a whole documentary about the kid, that the mother wrote the book, that the kid was used with in a press conference with Scott Wiener, when Scott was trying to, let me see if I get this facts right. Scott was trying to pass a drag queen 101 for K through 12 curriculum in California. And so they used this kid as the poster child for that. Look, guys, I just want to say, I'm surprised every church on Sunday didn't say something about this. It's funny, dude. I just have to say the truth. We have children's ministry, kids ministry, all this, youth ministry. But I got to say, do we really give a damn about these kids? Propaganda, politics, there's so much church politics when it comes to stuff like this. Do we actually give a damn about them, or are we just creating a job so that some young youth leader can try to become a pastor, can work their way up the ladder, and they have a place in the church? And also, it is well known in churches, especially mega churches, is taught at every pastor conference for the last 20 years, that the way to blow up a church is youth ministry and kids ministry, not necessarily what's happening in the big sanctuary. Because if you have an epic kids ministry, people will go and attend. Surveys have all shown that parents will attend a ministry as a great kids ministry if as long as the actual sanctuary and the preaching was like okay. If they get in the car and the kid's like, oh my God, it was so awesome, I had so much fun, the parents are looking at each other going, dude, this has got to be good. You know what I'm saying? And so, but I got to say, do we actually care about the kids growing up with our morals, with our values, with knowing the Bible? We do, like, an individual level, the pastors care deeply. But I'm saying, and this is not speaking for all churches, certainly not. Okay, certainly not. But I can tell you this, that when it comes to kids ministry, it's much more about grooming leaders, okay, in the next generation of worship leaders and stuff like that. It's not about dealing with these kind of problems. And I applaud the people who have the courage to say something like that, because it actually takes courage. That is the real courage, is to come out and speak the truth now. And I can't believe that This type of propaganda is going out to millions and millions and millions of Americans and people all around the world. And the church has virtually nothing to say. You know what I'm saying? We would rather teach you some ancient theology that is not actually going to affect your day-to-day life. You see what I'm saying? Like, what's going to affect how you live is your day-to-day life, is culture. And we should be teaching the Bible as culture. This is why God had to come and walk amongst you, show you and me the culture of how to live. The reason Jesus had to come and walk with people for 3 years was to show them how to live and how it's done. And we totally miss that as teachers in the church. We completely epically miss this. It is really, really sad. Look, but what's missing in the world is women being strong, amazing women, and men being strong, amazing men. This is what this whole argument is about, and what these fights are supposed. They're masking themselves as, well, we're for women, and we're for men being men. No, you're not. No, you're not. If you're for women, then why the hell are we doing all this trans stuff? Because all that's going to do is make my daughter 100 times harder to win a high school event by the time she gets into high school, because some dude is going to decide next year, dude, you know what? I kind of suck, but I really want to get the spotlight and blah, 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 and set some records. So I'm just going to be a girl. You know what I'm saying? And then I guarantee you guys, mark my words, you're going to have people who go 1 year as a girl, the next year as a boy, or they never again show up as a girl, or they just go create these other, middle ground, whatever things where they're just one thing one day, one thing the next day. And so they can show up anytime they want and be a girl, you know what I'm saying? And go absolutely school your girls. And so all the girls that are putting in time, effort, and whatever, this is absolutely insane. This is the worst thing that could happen to women, to little girls and little boys, and people who actually put in the time to go out there and be the best in their class at what they do. There was a guy who tried to play on our football team, and he came back to high school. Okay, we're in Seattle. The weirdest things happen. So there was a guy who came back to play, or he came back to high school because he was a high school dropout. Well, we didn't know he was 21 years old until we started hanging out with him. He was a drug dealer, and he was a former gangbanger, and he ended up dying. Actually, not dying, but he ended up killing somebody and going to jail. But which is a whole nother story. And how he was out on the street and in my high school, I have no idea. And he was our little gang leader. So he started playing football with us. Well, he was just a high school senior. He's playing football with us, and he was basically telling people, dude, I'm a third year. I'm one of those like third year seniors. Well, lo and behold, he's not a third year senior. This was his 5th year trying to finish his senior year, 5th year. So he had multiple years where he was out, then he was back in, then he was out, then he was back in. So I remember on a college, we went to play a football game, and there was a huge debate by the coaches saying, hey, that guy, that big defensive lineman you have, he is not allowed to play in this game because you have 15, 16, 17, and 18-year-old kids. That dude is a freaking grown man. and yeah, it was crazy. Like, he would get in the game and he was dominant and things like that. And he was a freaking man. Like, he wasn't very athletic, but he was a man, playing against boys. So he could just throw people around like crazy. It was insane. And that's what I'm saying, is these type of beliefs, whether you want to call them politics or whatever, they are not good for humanity. They are not good for boys. They are not good for girls. It is no different than that dude coming on and playing and just dominating in football with us. There's no difference in that versus, a boy going to play against girls. It's the same thing. And so anyway, I just want to say, like, this is for kids, this is emotional manipulation on behalf of the parents. I mean, they're on here talking about, that the kids will have mental issues and all this stuff. Dude, telling a kid that he is not the way God, he or she is not the way God made them, will give them mental issues as well. And like I said, they're going to have more mental issues going down the trans route than they would if you just told them the truth. It is child abuse, in my opinion, to be able to transition a child that is like, okay, look, it's a whole nother subject. If the kid's 18 years old, says, look, man, I've been trying to tell you I'm a boy, but I'm really a girl. And I've been trying to tell you that for the last 6 years. And so when I turn 18, I'm becoming a girl. Dude, at the end of the day, that's a whole nother topic now, right? Do whatever you want. You're in America. Do whatever you want. Okay. That's a reflection of parenting. That's a reflection of the church not being there and all these things. And that's fine. Well, I'm not saying it's fine. I'm just saying that's a whole nother thing, right? You can't really, the parents need to let the kid spread his wings at some point, right? And trust me, if he thinks at 18, you ain't doing no good stopping him now. Should have stopped him when he was 10. Should have told him when he was 6. You know what I'm saying? Like, now you're too late. You're way too late. Now he's gonna have to go figure it out on his own. But for a parent to start transitioning a kid that is of this age, and to try to say that the kid somehow really knows and is convinced, this is insanity, man. This is true insanity. Like, this is child abuse at the most epic level, because it's sponsored by the government. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you look into trans and the history of trans, I would encourage you to look into the history of trans. Just type it in, like, the history of trans. Where did trans come from? Who are the people? What did they believe in? It's seriously dark stuff. Okay. I won't go into it right now just for time. It is seriously dark stuff. These people were effed up, were crazy. Like, they don't believe in the stuff you believe in. I guarantee you, they do not believe in the stuff you believe in. But you're believing in something that is a fundamental lie. Like, it's not like somebody, it's not like you're having an argument with your friend or your spouse and they go, "Oh, you're insane." Okay, that's like it's ambiguous, right? No, this is actually true. The girl will always be a girl. You will always take their DNA test, and they will always be a girl. It doesn't matter. They will always be a girl. Okay. I want to say, like, guys, I'm going to tell the truth. Okay. The parents are manipulating the children. Just like this show, right? It comes off like, "Oh yeah, this is a new thing we just figured out with this little girl." No, dude, this mom has been pushing this propaganda for a long time. Okay. And this mom is a hardcore left-leaning, like, I don't say extremist, but because I didn't really see that, but I would say she is. Like, I mean, she was a part of pushing this long before this story, long before the child even knew how to talk. I mean, dude, that they show a picture of the little girl dressed up as a girl, and she's looking real sad. Dude, I have 10 million pictures of my little girl looking sad, holding a baseball, holding a flower, holding, like, what I'm saying? Kids make all kinds of weird expressions, and depending on how many pictures you take, like, what I'm saying? Like, it's absolute insanity, guys. Like, it's crazy, and the fact that the guy reporting on it, used the manipulation line of, "I'd rather have, a living daughter than a dead son." I'm just saying, guys, that is pure fear tactic. And if you're a Christian, we are called to move in faith, not fear. And every time somebody moves in fear, it's wrong. They're going to sleep less. They're going to be stressed out. They're not going to like their life. They're not going to be happy. And this is in the Bible. I'm not going to get all crazy biblical on you here and show you the background of that, but I could tell you story after story after story, like a major theme, not a minor theme, a major theme in the Bible is when you seriously go down that road, you are opening yourself up to all kinds of dissatisfying things mentally, and it messes with your mind. It's crazy. So look, like I said, the ultimate victims here, it's the women. I mean, this is, we're trying to, reinforce that, women's bodies are the same as men. It's like, dude, do you want to be a woman? Or you know what I'm saying? Do you want to be loved and cherished and seen as a beautiful woman or not? You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand this. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think. I'm open to hear what you have to say, but I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks so much for always being here, guys. I'll be here every single day for you on the channel. So thanks so much. I'll be here tomorrow for you as well. I appreciate you guys. You guys let me know.